2 is about anxiety. Now, what is anxiety? Anxiety is something that you have specifically when you are either called out to maybe say a vote of thanks, or you have when they ask you to speak something. Now, this particular anxiety, or what you call butterflies in your stomach, happens when either you are not prepared, or it happens all of a sudden. Or this public speaking anxiety is also known as glossophobia. Now, glossophobia is one of the most reported social fears. The fear of public speaking, or the fear of speaking in public. Now, this is also termed in by medical professionals as speech anxiety. Some people, they start to stammer. Some people start to shake when they are called out. And this sort of, some people are afraid to face the public even. So this is what you call a social anxiety disorder. This may also be known as a social phobia. For example, some people don't like to go outside when it is crowded. Nowadays, it's nice that if you do not go out when it's crowded, but there are very many people who fear that if they go out in a crowd, they have a fear for themselves. So if some of you may have this public speaking anxiety, we are trying to cover them up, or we are trying to see whether you can come out of that shell. Now, definitely you need to do this, because as practicing our future business personnel, you will be in charge of business houses. You might be working in great business houses too. So there, when you are called upon to do something, you should not shirk away. And for that, you need to know what sort of shirks you can do. One, sometimes you might be shaking as soon as they call you, "Ayyo, nyanilla," and then you start shivering. Or some people start blushing. You just blush and say, "No, I can't do." Or at that particular point of time, your heart beats more, or the adrenaline pumps into you, and you have a sort of, you can sort of even feel your heartbeat. This might be happen. This sometimes happens when you are the next speaker. When you are just preceding you has started to speak, and now it is almost your turn, but you really do not want to speak. So at that time, this heart pounds. Sometimes some people even have shortness of breath. They are not able to speak at that point of time. Some people have dizziness. Some people even have upset stomach. That is, suppose you are given a particular role, you are supposed to do a vote of thanks for a function, let's say, which involves the minister coming in. 2 days ago onwards, you start getting upset, you become sick, and so on and so forth. So these are certain strategies that you have to definitely cope up with. And if you do have those things, you definitely need to watch out for them, and also try to see whether you can improve upon these things, and see whether you will be able to be better placed. So what do? Take some steps to plan before you give a speech. The best way is always to plan before you start your speech. So for some people, it will be very easy to speak on any topic. Even me, for that example, if you give me a topic to speak, it might be a little difficult, because I always want to do a little bit more research on that, and then only I would like to talk. One good thing would be that you always choose a topic that interests you, a topic that you like. For example, I like English, I like business. So any topic related to business also, I might give it a try. So the advantage is that once you are excited about that topic, you will be able to approach that topic very well. Whereas if you are given a topic which you do not like, then it will be pretty difficult for you to digest and get into those things. Then another big thing is that you need to become familiar with the venue, the place where you are going to speak. It's always nice to visit the venue one day in advance. For example, suppose you are asked to say a vote of thanks or a speech in the Devgiri Indoor Auditorium. So you know that is a huge place. And at a point of time, you may not be able to suddenly jump up and speak. So sometimes you might have to go the previous day and see how it is, and so that you will be able to be familiar with the surroundings. Thereby, you will be able to lessen your anxiety. Then sometimes you might even have to ask for accommodations. You might have to change certain work environment. For some people, having a sort of tension in their lives would be very difficult. For example, suppose I'm given, let's say, for 3 hours for a class, and suppose I'm supposed to take your public speaking class in the 3rd hour, but the first 2 hours are totally different. They're dealing with literature and ELT, English language teaching. So the 3rd hour, I have to completely switch to public speaking. For some people, this will be difficult. So then you might have to ask for certain accommodations, and you might say, could you please shift this hour from the 2nd hour to maybe the 5th hour, or the 2nd hour to the 4th hour, so that I can have a gap in between. Thereby, I can brush up on my topics. That don't script it. Now, if you notice, the notes are there for you, but I am actually skipping points in the sense that I have read this before. Ever since I think this is my 4th time that I'm reading this. Today morning also I went through this. So I know approximately what I'm saying, and I use only a few words from this. And this is exactly why my PowerPoints have only very few words, primarily because most of the other things are already inside. That is, I have sort of digested it. But for very many others, you will see that the whole thing is scripted and written down in the slide. So then effectively what happens is the whole slide is being read. Now this creates a sort of boredom for you. Here you see the text is there for you. You may or may not look at it. But I am speaking to you directly. I am trying to connect with you. And if in case you want to look into the notes are there for you. This is how I do. And finally, you have to develop a routine for this. You have to put together a routine for managing anxiety. I think one of the best factors nowadays people say is that yoga. Of course, I do not practice yoga. Many of my colleagues who are practicing yoga, they do say that it relieves a lot of stress. In my case, I try not to put stress into myself. In case I have a stress, what I generally do is that by 10 o'clock, I switch off my mobile phones, everything. I just close. And then maybe I just watch the TV for about 10 minutes or something like that. Something that would change. Or I have I have a small MP3 player with me in my room. So I put on the MP3 player so that I can listen to some soothing music. It depends on what you like. That way, it calms your mind. Sometimes I have maybe a half glass of milk, which makes me a little bit drowsy, and I sleep. So there are certain things that I do wherein I manage the stress. Even though I need to switch on the mobile phone for the internet, I try as much not to use the WhatsApp till 7 o'clock, because I feel that the morning time it should be a productive time. Usually what will happen is lots of good mornings and all those things come during the early mornings. So I try to skip all. Thus, you must try to develop a routine. Once you have a routine, it will be very easy for you to manage anxiety, especially on the day of your speech. And this routine should help you to put a sort of proper frame of mind. And thereby, you will be able to maintain a relaxed state. And as I told you, exercising or practicing yoga or practicing meditation prior to the speech would be definitely good for you.